Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. A few months ago, I did a video on the best secured credit cards of this year, and there were two cards that I was asked about more than any other card on that list. And that was the Capital One QuickSilver secured card and the Capital One Platinum secured credit card. Now, when you're trying to rebuild or simply build your credit, it's almost impossible not to come across both of these options. And for many of us, Capital One will be our first credit card because Capital One is considered the largest subprime lender in America, particularly in the credit card market, with about 2/3 of its card portfolio consisting of subprime borrowers as of 2023. And this is before its merger with Discover, and that acquisition further solidified its position. So in other words, if you're trying to improve your credit score, this is likely the first place anyone is going to start. So today, I'm going to walk you through a detailed comparison of both cards. I'm going to show you how each card works, what the key differences are, and ultimately, which one will help you build credit faster so you don't pick the wrong one. Now, if you're new, please drop a comment below and say new or first. I'd like to personally welcome you to the channel. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Before we compare these two cards, let's make sure that we're fully clear on what secured credit cards actually are and how they work and why it matters when you're building or rebuilding your credit. A secured card is a type of credit card that requires you to place a security deposit as collateral. That deposit essentially backs your credit line. It's a refundable deposit as well, meaning if you handle the card responsibly, the issuer may return it or convert it to your account. In the case of the cards that we're discussing today, Capital One reports your account activity to all three major credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, which is vital because it means your on-time payments and your usage will contribute to building your credit profile. So now that we understand what secured credit cards are, let's flip back to Capital One. Capital One secured cards work by requiring that same refundable security deposit, which will act as collateral and helps you build or rebuild your credit. The deposit can be as low as $49 and is held while you use the card, which has a credit limit of at least $200. Now, your responsible use will be reported to all three major credit bureaus, and you may be considered for a higher credit limit or have your account upgraded to an unsecured card in the future. So in short, secured cards are proven tools for building your credit when you don't yet qualify for an unsecured card or when you're recovering from past credit mistakes. They allow you to demonstrate responsibility, and that payment and reporting behavior helps push your credit forward. The key is to use them correctly, making payments on time every month and keeping balances low relative to your credit line. Ideally, you would like to keep it below 10%. And you want to avoid late payments or high utilization spikes. Understanding that foundation is important because once you know what secured cards actually do, you can assess which one, or in this case, the two that we're comparing, will help you build credit faster while also giving you other benefits. Let's start with the first one of the two cards, the Capital One Platinum Secured Credit Card. The Capital One Platinum Secured is the most basic form of credit building Capital One offers. It's designed for people who either have no credit history whatsoever or those who have dealt with serious credit challenges in the past, including collections, charge-offs, or long periods of inactivity. It has no rewards, no cash back, no fancy benefits, and no bonus structure. The only advantage of this card is the fact that Capital One will approve a wide range of applicants who may not qualify for anything else. The security deposit will start as low as $49, depending on your credit worthiness, and it can go up to $200 or more. You'll receive an initial credit line of $200 once your deposit is paid. Capital One reports this card to all three major credit bureaus monthly, and the biggest promise it offers is the potential for automatic credit limit increases after consistent responsible use. It is possible for a Capital One Platinum secured card to be upgraded to an unsecured card, sometimes called graduating, after approximately 6 months, but it's not guaranteed and it's not always automatic. Capital One will periodically review your account for eligibility, and the timeline depends on your credit behavior. So in other words, this card is the definition of simple. It does one job and one job only, which is give you a chance to rebuild or build your credit when you have very few options. It's the most accessible secured card in Capital One's lineup, but that accessibility comes with trade-offs that matter when you're trying to build your credit as fast as possible. In short, the Platinum Secured Card is a strong choice if your focus is building or rebuilding your credit, but you aren't seeking cashback rewards. It does give you access to report your behavior and offers a clear path to upgrading, but it's basic when it comes to perks. Now, let's talk about the Capital One QuickSilver Secured Card. And this is where we start seeing a clear difference in value, speed, and long-term benefits. The QuickSilver Secured Card requires a minimum refundable deposit of $200. You cannot open this card with a $49 or $99 deposit like you can with the Platinum Secured. You must deposit at least $200 to activate this credit line, and at first glance, it might sound like you're paying more, but once you look at what this card gives you, you quickly realize you're receiving far more value. The QuickSilver Secured Card gives you unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase that you make. Now, this kind of reward structure is almost never seen on secured credit cards. There are very few secured cards in this industry that offer consistent cash back on all your purchases. And when they do, the earning rate is usually extremely low or it's restricted to one specific category. Capital One clearly designed this card to behave like a typical cashback card rather than just your basic secured starter card. On top of the 1.5% cash back, the QuickSilver Secured also gives you 5% cash back when you book hotels, rental cars, or vacation rentals through Capital One Travel. So that means if you're using the card while traveling for work or personal trips, you're gonna earn some cash back at a very high rate, which puts money back into your pocket, and it'll increase the overall value of this card. And just like the Platinum Secured, this card has no annual fee, your deposit remains refundable, and Capital One still reports your activity to all three major credit bureaus. You still have an opportunity to graduate the account to an unsecured version of the QuickSilver card and get your deposit back once you have shown consistent, responsible use. Now, here is the core advantage. Because the QuickSilver Secured gives you cash back, you naturally end up using the card more often. This creates more opportunities for on-time payment history, more chances to maintain lower utilization, and more overall positive activity on your credit profile. All of these things directly increase your credit score faster. The Platinum Secured Card may be easier to access, but the QuickSilver Secured Card gives you the tools to build credit at a much faster pace because it encourages consistent usage through ongoing rewards. And that's the difference between a card that simply helps you rebuild and a card that turns credit building into something that rewards you daily. Now, here's the question that everyone wants answered. If both cards report to all three major credit bureaus and both cards help you establish payment history, then what card actually builds credit faster? And the answer is the QuickSilver Secured Card, and here's why. One of the biggest drivers of your credit score is payment history, which makes up approximately 35% of your overall FICO score. When you have a card that gives you rewards for using it, you're naturally more likely to use it on everyday purchases that you already make, like groceries, gas, small bills, or online orders. And this constant usage creates a solid record of monthly activity that you pay down in full. These repeated on-time payments build your payment history much more aggressively than a card that you may rarely ever use. Another major factor is credit utilization. If you use $10 on a $200 credit line, then that would be 5% utilization. If you use $60, then it would be 30%. Because the QuickSilver Secured pays you 1.5% back on everything that you buy, you are more likely to use the card enough to show consistent utilization while still paying it down responsibly. Many people who get the Platinum Secured card use it very lightly because it doesn't offer rewards. They may use it once or twice a month, or they may use it once every other month. They only pull it out to keep it active, and sometimes you forget to actually use it, which means you don't get on-time payments reporting to the credit bureaus. This slow, minimal usage creates fewer positive data points in your credit history, and that slows down the time it takes for your credit score to actually rise. The QuickSilver Secured works like a real cashback card. You're rewarded every time you swipe it, and that naturally will strengthen your credit report. You earn rewards while building credit, you form discipline habits because the card itself encourages activity because you're using it more often, and Capital One sees your payment patterns clearly, and that will increase your chance of graduating to an unsecured QuickSilver card, which will then increase your credit line, which will then also raise your credit score. This is why the QuickSilver Secured is a superior option for building credit quickly. It creates positive credit cycles. You use the card more often, you earn cash, you pay it down. More likely, you'll build credit and graduate faster, and you'll also see higher credit lines much more frequently on this one than the Platinum. Even though the QuickSilver Secured is the stronger choice for building credit quickly, there are certain situations where the Platinum Secured card might be the better option. So if your budget is tight and you cannot comfortably put down that $200 deposit, the Platinum Secured card gives you more flexibility. If Capital One approves you for the lower deposit tiers, you can begin your credit building journey with as little as $49 or $99. And there's also situations where someone's credit is severely damaged and the Platinum Secured card may be far more forgiving during the approval process. Capital One designed it for people who may have gone through major financial hardships like collections, like charge-offs, like late payments. And if your credit file is more challenging, you may have a better chance of being approved for the Platinum Secured card. Now, if that does sound like you, as a side note, I do have a credit repair playlist down in the description. I highly recommend that you watch that if you're having problems with charge-offs, collections, late payments, anything like that. Those videos should be able to help you take care of those things. So just keep in mind that the Platinum Secured card is a solid, reliable option. It does exactly what it promises, and it helps you rebuild your credit at a manageable cost. If the deposit difference between the two cards is a major factor for you, then the Platinum Secured is the right move. However, if you can afford that $200 deposit and your primary goal is speed, momentum, and maximum credit growth, then you should choose the QuickSilver Secured. The reward structure alone makes the difference. To build your credit as quickly as possible with either card, you need a consistent and disciplined approach. I suggest that you choose the card that gives you the most value, use the card regularly for small reoccurring purchases that fit within your budget. You want to pay your balance in full every single month, keep utilization low by never allowing large balances to roll over into the next billing cycle. You also want to set up automatic reminders or auto pay so you never miss a due date. Then, after 6 months of perfect payments, Capital One will begin reviewing your account for a potential upgrade. Credit building is not complicated, it's just a matter of consistency. These small habits compound faster than most people realize. The right card will amplify your results, which is exactly why choosing between these two cards is so important. One card simply helps you move forward, the other card helps you move forward and you get rewarded while doing it. Once you rebuild your credit and Capital One decides you're ready for the unsecured card, both cards will refund that deposit, but what happens after that is where the gap between these cards becomes very massive. If you have the Platinum Secured and Capital One graduates you, you typically move into the unsecured Platinum card. Now, this card still does not offer rewards, it does not offer cash back, and it does not provide any benefits beyond basic credit usage. It's simply a credit card with no annual fee. On the other hand, if you have the QuickSilver Secured and Capital One graduates you, you typically move into the unsecured QuickSilver, and this is a legitimate mainstream cashback credit card that millions of consumers use as their everyday card for spending. Because again, it'll offer unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase. You also get better upgrade opportunities and long-term value. For many people, it becomes part of their permanent wallet because again, this will probably be your first credit card, which means it'll be your oldest account. So it's very rare that you're going to close your oldest card to keep your credit history long. So the long-term difference between graduating into a no rewards card versus a full cashback card is very important, especially if you're working towards higher credit limits, travel cards, or business credit cards in the future. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If your goal is fast credit growth with long-term value, the QuickSilver Secured card is the obvious winner. It gives you the rewards, the faster upgrade path, and consistent credit line increases that help push your credit profile upward way more quickly. Now, the Platinum Secured has its place, and it is the card Capital One designed for people who need an entry point. But once you qualify for the QuickSilver Secured, there is no question which card will deliver more value both today and years from now. The key to building credit is using your card every single month, keeping utilization low, and paying your balances on time. So always keep that in mind. That is the basics. When you combine those habits with the right secure card, your score can rise dramatically faster than most people expect. Now, if you want a list of the best secure cards of this year, I'm going to link that video right here. I highly recommend that you watch that if you want more options than just what Capital One has to offer. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, please like and subscribe for more content like this. It lets me know that you guys really enjoy this. And if you do, I'd be more than happy to make more videos along the same vein of this. And again, thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. And you guys have a wonderful day.